up, Tampa Bay Buccaneers fans? It's your old friend IndyCar Timm here with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers Daily Blitz. Welcome into the program. Welcome into the network. It is about to be like the slowest part of the offseason. A little bit of free agency probably be going on. Might have some teams searching out some quarterbacks. But for the most part, the Bucs are set as they have just completed their 3-day mini camp. Mandatory minicamp over there at One Buck Place. Lots of interesting observations coming out of there from our friends at Pewter Report, our friends at the J.P. Peterson Show, all sorts of places. As we finally got to take a look at some of the new guys. Hassan Reddick finally showed up and looked great. Just everybody looks amazing. If you're hungry for football, I mean, mandatory minicamp's really not football, but it's a start. It's a start, and it's what we got, and it's what we got to talk about here for the next 6 weeks or so until training camp starts. Again, it'll be the slow period, but we're going to have a lot of things to talk about here. I want to talk a little bit today about some observations from literally everyone as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, of course, added, I don't even want to call it wide receiver depth, although that's what it is, with the surprise selection in the first round of the NFL draft. Let's see, it would have been the last day of April, right, when they went through that first round on that Thursday, with Ohio State Buckeyes receiver Emeka Egbuka. Shocked everybody. Everyone just knew they were going defense. And Jason Light did go defense with the next two picks, got a couple of very impressive-looking cornerbacks in Benjamin Morrison, Jacob Parrish. But the wide receiver in the first round was definitely a surprise pick for everybody. But you know what? It makes, at the time, it was a head-scratcher, but it makes all the sense in the world now that we know that Chris Godwin may not be ready to start the season. Would they have been okay without Egbuka to start the season? Probably. I mean, they finished the season without him pretty well. Jalen McMillan certainly had a pretty good year, right? Coming into his own a little bit there at after Godwin went down with that gruesome ankle injury. But, I mean, why not? He was the best player, I believe, on Jason Light's board. And he was on offense. And you take him. You take him 10 times out of 10 in that situation. That's Light's draft philosophy. It always has been. And it's paid off for the Bucs. So no complaints, especially in retrospect. No complaints at all. But when you look at how he's going to fit in with the offense, we've got a number of factors here to talk about. And they're all good, by the way. Make sure you like, subscribe, share the show with everybody on the FanStream Sports Tampa Bay YouTube channel, along with the J.P. Peterson Show over there. Appreciate you guys tuning in. I'd love to hear your comments. You can please comment if you're watching the live video. You can comment underneath in the comment section. If you are listening to the recorded podcast or watching the video at a later date, we do have at the FanStream Sports Studio text line 214-937-0569. 214-937-0569. That number is open 24/7 for you to text in. Make sure you tell us who you are and where you're texting from, and then make your point. It can be about any of our shows at any given point across any of our networks on any of our channels. That's why it's important we know who you are and where you're texting from so we can give you proper credit on the next episode. But we appreciate everybody being part of the FanStream Sports family for sure. But when you look at Tampa Bay's season last year, they had one of the most successful passing games in the league. Thanks, of course, to Baker Mayfield, who had a second consecutive career season. He completed 71.4% of his passes. He averaged 7.9 yards per attempt. He had 4,500 yards, 41 touchdowns, 16 interceptions. Yes, the 16 interceptions did lead the league. But you know what? With all those other numbers, I'm willing to overlook all of that. I'm sure you guys are too. With Baker, that's his game. You take the good, you take the bad. You take them both, and there you have the facts of Baker. For those of you that get that reference, congratulations, you're old like me. Some of that, though, was by design because, look, the Bucs and Baker spread the ball out really, really well. They had 3 receivers, or 7 different players. I'm sorry. They had 7 different players with at least 30 catches on 50 targets and 300 receiving yards. And that's a big thing. That's a big thing for an offense. And it's important. And a lot of that was by design. Some of it was because of injuries they dealt with, especially the one to Godwin, who was on his way to a career year. He had 50 catches already, 576 yards, and 5 touchdowns through just 7 games as he got hurt at the end of that Baltimore Ravens loss. Literally right at the end, under a minute to play, I believe, in the game. Mike Evans, of course, missed 3 games with his hamstring. Rookie Jalen McMillan missed 4. So the issues left the Bucs depending on some guys deeper down the depth chart that maybe they wouldn't have otherwise. McMillan, the third-round pick, ended up second in routes run on the team last season because of those injuries. Sterling Shepard, who had totaled just 46 targets over the last 2 seasons in New York, he was third in routes run. Guys like Trey Palmer, Ryan Miller, Raheem Jarrett each ran 100 routes or more for the first time in their careers ever or in a long time. So, yeah, a lot of movement, a lot of moving pieces there because of the injuries. But when you look at with the exception of Godwin and Evans, none of those wideouts were very efficient. McMillan had some explosive plays. He ended up with 8 touchdown drives. But, Shepard, Palmer, Miller, Jarrett, they all they didn't have great years. They weren't very efficient. And there's a way to measure the efficiency of a receiver even without a lot of targets, without a lot of catches. It's a per route, per target formula. They produce fewer yards, fewer first downs based on their number of routes than, other receivers in the league. They average all that out. That's how you get like an efficiency ranking on those guys, efficiency rating. We know that Godwin's coming back. We know the Bucs decided to add Egbuka and Tez Johnson from Oregon. Mike Evans said on, I believe it was Thursday, after minicamp finished, that he thinks this is the best wide receiver room he's been a part of. And he could very well be true. Could be accurate on that, but I feel like he says that even he admitted he says that just about every year. But you never know. This could be good. So what we can expect from the best wide receiver room that Evans has ever been in? Well, we know that Evans is on pace for a Hall of Fame career. He's still one of the best receivers in NFL history. He's going strong with a streak of 1,000-yard seasons despite missing some time last year. He's going to remain the team's primary option on the outside and down the field, but it looks like he's going to have more help than he has in years past. Godwin's one of the league's premier slot men. He has a 71% receiving success rate, which is first in the NFL per True Media. He also brings a vertical and run after catch element to the offense that not all players in his role can do. He averaged 7.2 yards per catch. Numbers don't jump out of my eyes. 7.2 yards per catch per reception last year. That ranked 8th best among the 89 wideouts who were targeted at least 50 times. He also had an explosive play rate of 19.4%. All numbers that we are familiar with from Godwin. That's why we love Godwin. We know that McMillan was used primarily as a deep threat as a rookie, but it's not necessarily the role that he will play in the future. He ran some of the deepest routes in the league with an average route depth of 10.43 yards, also per True Media. That was 15th among the aforementioned 87 wideouts with 50 targets or more. So his role should change a little bit this year. Maybe less deep routes, more some underneath stuff and, things that he's more comfortable with like he did in college. And then we look at where Emeka Egbuka will fit. I think he's going to bring a lot more versatility to the position of wide receiver for the Bucs. Even Mike said when he was talking about him on Thursday, he said he looks like a running back, but he catches like Chris Godwin. He's polished, very well-rounded player, end quote. So a lot of versatility. A lot of these guys are versatile. You look at Bucky Irving and Rachaad White can both catch the ball out of the backfield. So you've got a lot of versatility in the running game as well. But when you look at what kind of factor Emeka Egbuka will be, a lot of people don't remember that his entire career at Ohio State, for as impressive as he was, for all the numbers he put up, he was never the number one wide receiver option for the Buckeyes. Not 1 year of his career there. And that's not an implication on him. That's because he played behind Jackson Smith and Jigba. He played behind Marvin Harrison Jr., and he played behind, last season, the rookie phenom Jeremiah Smith. So he played mainly out of the slot for the Buckeyes. We know that's Godwin's role here. If Godwin's not ready for the prime time in week 1, Egbuka probably will fill that role, or McMillan can also fill that role until Chris is fully healthy and ready to come back. But all in all, I think it's a great, great fit. The more that we look at this and analyze this here in the offseason after the pick was made on the last day of April, and, you know, when I said we weren't really scratching our heads. We all knew that Light had a plan. It just was such a deviation, I think, the draft pick was, than what we all had anticipated, because we'd all been thinking edge rusher, linebacker, corner, something like that on defense. And that's just not, you know what, when the opportunity presents itself, that's the sign of a great GM, right, which we've seen Jason Light has certainly turned into since taking over the Bucs. I mean, hell, his first draft pick ever was Mike Evans. That's a lofty thing to stand up to every single season. There's not a Mike Evans in the draft every year, but maybe they found one in 2025. We don't know. So all of this, of course, falls on the shoulders of new offensive coordinator Josh Grizzard. As he takes over, he will take over play calling. The good thing for the wideouts and for Josh is that, of course, he was a wide receivers coach in Miami under both Brian Flores and Mike McDaniel. So he has experience with the wideouts. He knows how to coach the wideouts. And I think it's maybe the perfect situation for Egbuka coming into the NFL. He doesn't have to go to a team that sucks and be the number one wideout option with a sucky quarterback immediately. But he can play behind a couple of future Hall of Famers with a bona fide starting quarterback who is rolling off 2 straight career years. So that's how I see things fitting in here in the offense. That's how I see Egbuka fitting in with the offense and with Godwin, with Evans, with McMillan, with the running backs catching passes out of the backfield from time to time, and mainly in Josh Grizzard's not really new offense, but in his retooled Bucs offense that we'll get into on a later episode. But, you know, just a few thoughts from me. I would love to hear what you guys think. Find me on on X, Threads, and BlueSky at IndyCar Timm. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me just about anywhere. Just Google me and you'll find me everywhere. Unfortunately, that's the way it works these days. But I would love to hear from you. What are your thoughts on Egbuka, on the offense, on Evans, on Godwin, on McMillan, how they all fit together with Grizzard, and what you're looking for training camp this year? What are you looking forward to other than just football in general? I would love to hear from you. Also, 214-937-0569, FanStream Sports Studio text line. Until then, boys and girls, we'll see you.